Welcome to the 2022 Crittenton High Tea. We're so excited to have you here tonight for important conversations with our teens and to recognize and celebrate their extraordinary achievements. So let's get started. Now here's our host, SHAWN YANCY.
Good afternoon and welcome to Crittenton's 2022 Virtual High Tea. I'm SHAWN YANCY and I am honored to be your host for this very special event. It is a pleasure to be with you today as we show our support for the girls of Crittenton. I'm excited about what we're going to learn from these amazing teenagers today. The annual High Tea is a place where Crittenton girls demonstrate their leadership and advocacy skills and share the issues that are important to them. It is also where we do the important work of engaging in intergenerational conversations. We adults serve as caring listeners and offer these extraordinary girls some wisdom gleaned from our own experiences. Today, we will hear about Crittenton's amazing programs, and then we will all join a live roundtable discussion with Crittenton girls moderated by youth advocacy trainer Sabrina Curtis. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions and engage with the girls on vital topics they've chosen for this event. To all of the Crittenton girls here today, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to spend with us. You are the most important people here, and your voices matter. And to all the adults in this virtual room, thank you for your support. You're in for a truly wonderful experience this evening. For those of you who pre-registered, you should have received your high tea welcome packet. Hopefully your tea is steeped and ready to sip because we are ready to begin. Please help me welcome Siobhan Davenport, President and CEO of Crittenton Services of Greater Washington. Siobhan will update us on how the girls are flourishing even in these challenging times.
Good evening, and thank you, Sean, for being with us this year. My name is Siobhan Davenport, and I'm the President and CEO of Crittenton Services of Greater Washington. For those of you who have attended the High Tea in the past, you know this is a very special event where we gather to honor our incredible teen girls. While we are online once again this year, we're glad we can still provide this opportunity to come together with our caring adult community so all of us can listen and learn from the girls of Crittenton. As the American poet and writer Maya Angelou said, "When you do nothing, you feel overwhelmed and powerless. But when you get involved, you feel the sense of hope and accomplishment that comes from knowing you are working to make things better." We at Crittenton believe in empowering our 720 teen girls to use their voices to not only advocate for themselves, but for each other and their community. Our successful model provides caring adults, our program leaders, who meet weekly with our Crittenton girls, helping them develop positive youth development and social emotional core competencies, and providing trauma-informed care. We serve our teen girls in 11 middle and high schools in Montgomery County and 9 middle and high schools in the district. Our Crittenton teens can participate in our programs for a continuum of 7 years, starting with our goal-setting girls in the 6th and 7th grades. Then they can advance to our sneakers program from the 8th through 12th grades. In addition, we offer our Pearls program for our pregnant and parenting teens. I'm proud to share that even in such a difficult period, 100% of our teen girls graduated from high school in 2021, and 83% decided to continue their education, serve their country by joining the military, or enter a workforce development program. Please go to our website, crittentonservices.org, to view our 2021 annual yearbook featuring our high school graduates. We're so proud of the class of 2021 for overcoming unprecedented challenges to finish in style. Crittenton has always been at the forefront of fighting for justice for girls and young women. We were founded as a home for pregnant and parenting single women and girls, many of whom had been sex trafficked. Today, we are helping our girls find their voice and speak out on the issues that matter. One of our newest initiatives is our teen advocacy program, Advocates for Equity. Recently, our teen advocates met with Montgomery County Council President Gabe Albornoz. I was so proud of them. They asked insightful and thoughtful questions and authentically shared their concerns around COVID safety, challenges in assessing mental health support, and the ongoing fight for racial justice. We at Crittenton cannot do our work without our caring community. We need your support as powerful allies to help us to continue our work. We encourage you to have conversations with your network about what you learned today from our girls. That includes what you've learned about the impact of our programs. And now, we're asking for your support to help us to continue to provide our programs so our teens will achieve the bright futures ahead of them. Please take a moment and visit crittentonservices.org to make a gift today. Thank you so very much. And thank you to our generous sponsors. Your commitment to Crittenton is especially meaningful. We couldn't do our work without you.
SHAWN, thank you. Now we have a very special treat for you. We're going to learn about Crittenton's programs from 4 incredible young women, Makai, Sayani, Amaya, and Naomi.
Hello, my name is Makai Moore, and I'm a 10th grade student at Barr High School in Washington, D.C. This is my first year in the sneakers program. For me, sneakers is a safe space. It's a place where I can talk about important things like my home life, my grades, my hobbies, and even the type of music I like, without being judged. Sneakers is also a sisterhood. I only knew a few of the girls in the group when I first joined at the beginning of the school year, but never really talked to them. Now, because of sneakers, we know a lot about each other. I like being able to relate to other girls like me, getting and giving advice. Our program leader, Ms. Colley, plays a really big part in how our group interacts. She doesn't judge us, but respectfully provides her insight and guidance. I wish I had joined sneakers during my 9th grade year when I was quarantined and doing online school, which was kind of lonely. I didn't have any friends from school, and I needed someone to understand what I was going through at the time. I believe sneakers could have helped me get through a really tough year. I'm grateful it's a part of my life now.
Hello, my name is Sayani Pinckney, and I'm in the 10th grade at Barr High School. I have been a Crittenton girl for 4 years as a part of the sneakers program. When I first joined Crittenton, I didn't really socialize with a lot of people. When I did, I only wanted to be with the in crowd. Crittenton taught me how to create healthy relationships and respect girls who are different from me. Now, I am more confident in myself, and I've learned to choose my friends more wisely. I'd like to tell you about a Crittenton program for younger students called Goal Setting Girls. Goal Setting Girls provides a space for 6th and 7th grade girls to be themselves and make new friends. This program helps girls develop skills that are essential to achieving academic, career, and life successes. It teaches them to advocate for themselves at home with parents, with their teachers at school, and in their communities. Goal Setting Girls provides an amazing opportunity for girls like me to grow, create long-lasting friendships, and use our voices. It's a program that is really making a difference.
Hi, my name is Amaya Brooks, and I'm a senior at Dunbar High School in Washington, D.C. I have been in the sneakers program since the 8th grade. Sneakers is very special to me because all of the support I have received from my group members and program leaders. It has helped me manage my emotions and change my attitude in many ways. But today, I'd like to talk to you about another Crittenton program called PEARLS. PEARLS stands for Parenting, Education, and Responsive Life Skills. It's a group for pregnant and parenting teens. PEARLS helps teens learn to become advocates for themselves and others while they develop positive life and parenting skills and achieve academic success. Like sneakers, PEARLS gives the support system that makes a big difference. PEARLS broadens teens' horizons and gives them the meaningful opportunity to serve others. PEARLS changes lives. Thanks to your support.
Hi, my name is Naomi Conta. I am a junior and I attend Clarksburg High School in Montgomery County. I got involved with Crittenton when I joined the sneakers program in my freshman year of high school. Crittenton has given me the chance to find sisterhood with other girls. We have learned together, cried together, and worked to create beautiful stories. We have broken barriers I thought would never come down. And our program leader is a trusted and trusting adult in our lives, which I am forever grateful for. I also want you to know about Crittenton's Advocates for Equity project, which develops the leadership and advocacy skills of Montgomery County teen girls, mostly girls from immigrant families. Students in the program lead a year-long advocacy campaign on the issue that they have selected. It is an amazing opportunity for girls like me to learn to use their voice and to make a difference. And it shows that with the right support, there's nothing we can't achieve.
Thank you, ladies. That was wonderful. They are truly an impressive bunch. All right, now let's hear about a new Crittenton initiative, the Cupboard Campaign. Here's Crittenton alumna Janiyah Dudley.
My name is Janiyah Dudley, and I was a member of Crittenton's Pearls program at Watkins Mill High School. Today I live in North Bethesda with my beautiful sons, Khalil 18, Jaquin 8, Quentin Jr. 7, and Justice 4. I want to tell you about a new program at Crittenton that helped us get through a major crisis. I've been looking for a new place to live for 3 years. We have been in an apartment with black mold, a broken oven, and a refrigerator that leaked constantly. I have finally found a new place that looked good, but they kept changing the security deposit. First it was $500, then $1,000. When it hit $1,500, I knew I was in trouble. I've been saving up, and I had the first and last month's rent and money set aside for the moving van, but I didn't have $1,500 for a security deposit. And I had already given notice to the landlord. We had to move out in a few weeks. I tried everything I could think of. I asked family for a loan, tried my church, no luck. Then my friend Lamika, who was in Pearls with me, had a great idea. Let me check with Miss Deb. Miss Deb was the advisor to our Pearls group. No matter what problem we had in high school, she always knew how to help. This time was no different. Call SHAWN, said Miss Deb. I think Crittenton can help. That's how I learned about the Crittenton Cupboard. The Cupboard is a virtual pantry of necessities and emergency funding for tough situations like this. Within 2 hours, I had the money that I needed. Our move went smoothly for the 2 days it took, but my boys and I loved our new home. I'm so grateful and humble to Crittenton and the people who so generously gave to the Cupboard. I'm certain I will be part of something like this in the future, helping someone else in a similar situation. Thank you. I truly appreciate everything that Crittenton represents.
Janiyah, thank you for enlightening us about the crucial importance of the Cupboard program. You know, recent research shows that in a crisis, what people need most are resources, supplies, and financial support to keep hardship from snowballing into catastrophe. The Crittenton Cupboard Campaign stocks our virtual pantry with necessities and emergency funding to help when our girls and their families need it the most. If you'd like to contribute, please visit the Crittenton website and click on that donate button. Your donation can change a life and sustain a community. Now it is my pleasure to turn things over to Sabrina Curtis. Sabrina is an education professor and a youth advocacy trainer for Crittenton. She'll be leading the live panel discussion. Sabrina, take it away.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Crittenton's annual High Tea Talk with a Teen Girl panel discussion. My name is Sabrina Curtis, and I'm so excited to be in conversation with Crittenton teens today. Girls, I'd like to invite each of you to introduce yourselves. Jasmine, let's start with you.
Hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm in 11th grade, and I go to Clarksburg High School.
Thanks, Jasmine. Naomi?
Hi, my name is Naomi Conta. I am in the 11th grade, and I also go to Clarksburg High School.
Amaya?
Hi, my name is Amaya Brooks, and I go to Dunbar High School. I'm in the 12th grade.
Hi, I'm Ruth Kier. I'm in 9th grade, and I go to Springbrook High School.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies. Let's go ahead and get started. So this past weekend, you and the Crittenton girls had an incredible opportunity to participate in Crittenton's annual Leadership Summit. Can each of you tell us what your overall takeaway was from the Leadership Summit?
Well, I'll start.
You can go ahead.
Well, I had an amazing weekend. I overall felt very empowered and just empowered and grateful that I could go and experience that. And I'm just very glad that I got to do it with all these girls.
Can I go next?
Yeah, Maya, go ahead.
I had been to 2 leadership summits before this one, and the last one was virtual, of course. So I thought this one was going to be a little dry because the summits in the past, they're a whole weekend. And to sum it all up in one day, I thought it was going to be dry, but it was very nice. I felt very empowered. It felt good to let my emotions out that I've been holding in.
That's great. So the energy really surprised you. That's fantastic. Ruth?
Overall, like the experience was really great. I didn't think I would have such a good time being around just like a bunch of strangers, but hearing how the girls there were really open minded to explain how they felt like really great, and it felt like a sense of trust in the room, and it was really nice.
Wonderful. Thank you. Jasmine.
It was actually my first in-person leadership summit, and it felt really good to learn a lot of things from people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you all were pretty surprised about that great energy that was in the room. You left feeling empowered. You had the opportunity to open up and share some of your feelings and your insights. And Jasmine, you said that you learned quite a bit. So overall, what's one thing you sort of took away? What was one thing you all talked about last weekend?
We learned a lot about discrimination and many topics involving the minorities, and
I think
minority girls that we face. Sorry.
no, I agree. Um,
Oh, Naomi, thank you.
oh, sorry. A takeaway of mine was also the discrimination, but how much we could do to change it was really eye-opening to me, and I saw that we really could make a difference.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that. Amaya or Ruth, would you like to chime in?
When we had the
Yeah.
oh,
Amaya.
Oh, you go. You go.
okay, when we had the discussion about like mental health and how our mental health is in school, like it really showed me like the pandemic being virtual really took like a big difference on people like anxiety, their the way they are with their parents, like being cooped up in the house with all your family members is really hard because it's like different attitudes. Like I know I was going crazy in the house with my siblings, but like knowing that like everybody, like knowing that you weren't alone with the hold on, I just got a message. I'm sorry.
All right. Ruth, did you want to chime in?
Um, There we talked about, like the other girl said, mental health and discrimination. We also talked about solutions, or just things that have been going on in our personal lives that go with those topics.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like generally you had a lot of conversation around discrimination and how that impacts teen girls. You also talked about mental health and how our mental health conditions were exacerbated during the pandemic and what you were feeling both at home and having to manage your schoolwork outside of the school building. I want to dig a little bit more deeply into this and really get started talking about this mental health issue that we've been thinking about for the past year. But before we get started, I want to turn it over to the audience. So I want them to be able to chime in as well. So if we can turn it over to the audience and ask them our first polling question to see what they have to think about this issue concerning youth and mental health. To our audience, what do you think is the most important issue related to teen mental health? Give you a couple of seconds to chime in. Okay. Stress, family responsibilities, balancing employment, bullying. Okay. All right. Looks like we're getting some pretty good input here. Wow. So it looks like the audience is really leaning towards it looks like stress is one of the most important issues related to teen mental health. Girls, what do you all think about stress and mental health and how that's been impacting your lives or the lives of your peers at school? Jasmine, what do you think?
I
I think that stress is a really big issue involving teen mental health, and there's a lot of things that go into that, which is involves school and also outside of school and responsibilities.
Can I go?
Yeah, Matt?
Another thing with school mental health, it's counselors in the school and stuff, and like people that we can go and talk to, but we can't really express ourselves fully because, well, from on my end, going to like a counselor in my school, it's like a whole lot. Like they don't really like it's like rushed a little bit. Like they want you to get into the deep stuff first, like instead of getting to know you. So like it's kind of hard. Like that's why we battle our emotions, and because it's hard to talk to people that we're supposed to talk to that don't really be there. Like yeah, they're in their office, they're available, but they're not mentally available, just like parents. But that's another conversation.
I agree with everything she said. Like just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be there for you," or like we're here to talk. We have, for example, we have different resources. We have counselors, but it's like it's another thing to actually understand and to take your time to listen instead of just saying, "Oh, you'll get over it. Oh, it's just like a minor thing. It'll be gone by next week." Yeah, that's true, but we're still going to need you to like at least talk to us or give us some words of advice instead of just pushing it aside.
So it feels like in dealing with stress, a lot of it has to do with not having the time and space to really communicate your feelings, or to have the opportunity to talk with other adults, supportive adults who might be able to help you. And so, thinking about this issue around schools and family and community and support, what else do you all think? What's another thing we might want to raise awareness about around teen mental health?
Can I please go?
Yeah.
One thing that I want to raise awareness to about like teen mental health is that specifically for like the older generation, just because like we didn't go through the same issues that you went through when you were younger doesn't make ours any less invalid. So even though like it might not be like the old 90s boyfriend and girlfriend breakup cliche, but like we're still like nowadays things have gone harder, so I feel that even though we're younger, you should still hear us out and try to help us.
Okay. It sounds like generational divide might be sort of challenging to navigate as well. Naomi, I'd like to invite you to come to this conversation as well. What do you think about that? This balancing communications between your peers, but also with maybe older parents or grandparents who may not understand what you're going through or what you're experiencing as young girls who are trying to balance all of these responsibilities and multiple challenges in your lives.
Um, I fully agree with Ruth. I would like to emphasize the fact that like generational trauma is like so very real and so very experienced by so many people, and like they might not even know it. And so with that, I feel like finding resources should be something that we focus on, like, showing off to the next generation that like they're there, and even though they weren't there before, they're there now, and like maybe it'll like bring a step to better days.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Am I?
Can I answer the question that's
Yeah, I was just gonna, yeah, let's break it. So
Amber?
we got some, am I?
I feel like I push my needs to like the back of the car, like in the trunk, way packed up, and push everybody needs before mine. Like if any of my friends know that no matter what I'm going through, if you still need a person to talk to, like I'm always there, friends and families. You find yourself pushing your family needs first before yours, but like depending on the type of person you are, like you, oh, if my little brother hurt, like I could have gotten to a car, but of course, if my little brother hurt, I'm gonna go to him. So like I find myself pushing people needs above mine.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, Amaya. So Amaya is speaking to one of the questions that we have in the chat. And the question is asking, do you feel like you take on the needs of others more than your own needs? And do you feel responsible for the needs of friends or family? So Naomi or Jasmine or Ruth, what do you all think about that?
Um,
Ruth, what do
when
you
it
got?
comes to like, for example, if you're like the oldest sibling and you're like the first generation to like go to college, of course you like feel responsible for others' needs because they like there's a lot of pressure on older siblings in a family that younger siblings might not realize. But even so, like for example, if like mom and dad are gone, who's going to take care of you guys? It's going to have to be me. So I have to make sure that even now that we're all still here, I still have to like be responsible and make sure that you guys are doing okay. Like if I have an issue going on, but you're also something's troubling you, come to me first. Like I'll be there for you.
Mm, absolutely. Naomi, I think I saw you had your hand up as well. Did you want to chime in?
Um, I was thinking about the other question, but I agree with those two. Taking on the needs of others really is something that you can put before, well, that you would do, is because you care about people and stuff like that. So I feel like I do this. I try to help others before I help myself, and I do feel responsible for the needs of my friends and family, but obviously because I want to be there for them. So sometimes the burden it's not. But can I answer the other
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, absolutely, Naomi. So for our audience, as you can see in the chat, there's a question here about can the girls go more in depth about discrimination? So what came up for you about discrimination during our leadership summit last weekend?
Well, this is something I was really passionate about at the High Tea event, and we found that discrimination is very, very much apparent in like down county and lower funding schools. And I feel like, especially with mental health, there aren't as much resources to help teenagers seek out mental health, either teenagers or families, like people in their lives. I feel like there are not that many resources, and that's really what the discrimination is coming from, because there's no funding for them, there's no accessibility, and it's not fair at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think more recently, but also during really the scope of this pandemic, we've been seeing the impact of this imbalance of resources across communities, across schools, and it has significantly and continuously impacting the mental health of young people, particularly of Black and Brown girls and their families here in the DMV area. We have some more questions in the chat, but also I wanted to see if anyone else wanted to speak to this question about discrimination. Did anything else come up for either of you during Leadership Summit about discrimination?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, yeah.
Another like thing that came up when we talked about discrimination was when it came to specifically like Black women and Black girls were always seen as having to be strong because like Black people went through a lot. So whenever you like have an emotional outbreak, they're like, "Girl, you have to be strong." Da, da. But like still, that doesn't mean that I can't like we all lose it sometimes. We all have to let it out. So just because we're always seen as like having to be strong and empowered doesn't mean that we like can't have breaks here and there.
Yeah, absolutely, Ruth. And I think what you just shared really ties into these next couple of questions that we have in the chat, and we'll just kind of bring them together here. So one of our audience members asked, do you feel that if you're parenting caregivers support and care of their mental health, would it then make it easier for you? And then there's another question about, do we feel like the adults or the older family members in our lives have awareness of this intergenerational trauma? What do you all think about that? Naomi?
For the
I think that not many older family members have this awareness, which is really upsetting. But I feel like if we, advocate more, they maybe would be willing to understand that this is a real thing. This is what I'm really experiencing, because mental health is like a hard thing to actually realize that like maybe struggling. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that. And if they did and progress to, seek better days, it would help take care of many kids, many families, and just themselves in general.
I agree with Naomi, and a lot of time parents find themselves like just like we are bottling up our emotions because we don't really have anyone to talk to, and they're a little bit more older. So like when we bottle up our emotions, like teens and young adults, we still find ways to express ourselves. With parents, they express themselves different. Like they might be mean one day, and then the next day they're saying, "Oh, you want to go to the store? Oh, I just ordered you this." We find ourselves acting out in ways that it's only going to make us angry, and it's not really going to affect the person that we're trying to, affect, because they don't know that we're angry. But with parents, like they bottle up their emotions in a different way that is more harmful to the children and them, because you find a lot of parents and children relationships broken because of them not dealing with their mental health.
I agree with what she said. Our parents, they were like born in like a different generation, and they don't. They were like raised differently, so they're raising us the way they believe is best. And if they got better care, if they cared better for their mental health, they would probably understand us a little more, and would be able to guide and care for us better. So it would make it easier for us if they did get mental health.
Any more questions?
No, that was like, I think that was, we all summed it up pretty much, the comments.
I would just like to say you guys had really good responses. That was very, I feel like it's really cool to see how we all have the same mindset and the same way of thinking and just like want to help more,
Yeah,
especially as
that's what
teen
I thought
girls.
about too in the summit, when we all were like discussing what we thought about like most of the topics that were there, how like we could see it from different people's point of views, but still like have the same like main idea about it.
Yeah. And it
Like
was so
knowing you're
many
not
like, sorry, go ahead.
knowing you're not going through the struggle like alone, like knowing you're not
Yeah.
doing it by yourself. It's other people out here that's going through like the same thing you're going through, just in like a different way. Like it was that for me in the at the leadership summit, like hearing everybody's different point of views.
Hmm.
So
I agree. And the diversity was so nice too. Like it was so many backgrounds
Yeah.
of teen girls, and I think that was like really
All
cool.
right. All right, ladies. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're back. I'm not sure what happened, but we lost connection there. I want to turn it back to the audience and bring them back into our conversation. So, audience, if we can uh, bring you in here, what do you think is the biggest communication challenge that young people have to face when it comes to their mental health? We can put up the next polling question for our audience, please.
um the biggest communication challenge for myself is like not sugarcoating like how I feel. That's for me.
Hmm.
Because
Mm,
like when I'm talking to certain people, I can fully express myself, but when I'm talking to a certain person, I try to like tone it down. And I think it's the judgment that comes from the person that makes it
Yeah.
hard to, fully communicate my feelings and fully express myself.
mm.
I agree
So, am
with
I
you.
feel like it's difficult? Mhm.
For me, it would be like just having to communicate your feelings in general, because if you yourself don't even know how to communicate your feelings, then how you gonna like have people understand how you feel when you don't even know how you feel?
Yeah.
Mm. Those are both good points. And I think our audience also mentioned that communicating with parents is also very challenging. I know that you all spoke to that just a little bit. Was there anything else that sort of comes to mind for you as you think about what are some of the communication challenges that we face around expressing our concerns with our mental health?
I would like to put emphasis on the fact that like communicating with parents is really a struggle because of a good example is the generational trauma and stuff. Since they didn't know how to communicate, maybe they don't know how to communicate back or take in what we're saying. So I think it makes it so much harder to like express what you're feeling and when you're feeling it.
Yeah,
Also,
absolutely.
I would like to add that even though like feel like people generalize like mental health issues when it comes to like teens and adults, but also little children. Little children, like they're also starting to understand how they're feeling, and when they're like upset, yeah, they throw tantrum, throw stuff around. But like, do you ask them what's wrong? Do you like wait for them to explain? They might not be able to talk well, but like at least give them the chance and let them know that you're paying attention to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like there are some concerns around having more need for others to sort of listen and truly understand what young people are facing and what they are going through. We have a question in the chat, and I think this is a good sort of segue into our next question. And so the question in the chat says, do you all feel that your teachers encourage a mental health break when they see you stressing or struggling in school?
For me, no. I feel like when you tell a teacher that you're stressed or something, like especially with this being my 12th grade year, it's like it's being swept under the rug. And not because like the teachers don't care, but they have to say, "Oh, you got this close." Like the closer I get, the more stressed I get. The work piles up. It's just like certain teachers, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, like yeah, you do need a break or something," but it still won't change the fact that like y'all are putting the stress on us, and when it's time to take the stress off of us, y'all act as if it's our fault. Like they gaslight us a little bit. Well, maybe if you do this, you wouldn't have to worry about this. Like, I don't want the maybes. Maybe you should change the way you teach or the way like how much assignments you're giving out. It's not this one
Okay,
class I'm
Amaya.
taking.
Yeah,
Can I
Like
please
I
add
think
on
absolutely.
to
So
that?
you feel like, yeah, go ahead, jump in.
Like what she said about how like if you don't do this, that if you didn't do this, then maybe you wouldn't feel this way. There's a huge difference between school life and personal life. What you see in school might not be like what I'm outside of school. For example, there could be a kid that has like straight A's and still be like struggling at home. When we're, for example, like seniors or juniors that most likely have jobs, they might come to school tired or not turning in assignments. Just because they're not turning in assignments doesn't make them lazy. They might have something going on.
Yeah, Ruth is great. Ruth and Amaya. So it sounds like what I'm hearing is that there's not a lot of understanding about the home lives of students and their peers, and there's maybe a disconnect in terms of who is taking responsibility within our school walls and ensuring that young people feel safe and feel heard. What else? What do you all think, Jasmine or Amaya? Yeah, go ahead.
um but I also, think about this teacher's well-being too. Like everybody
Hmm.
goes through something.
Hmm.
Like it may take the teacher 2 hours to get to the school, but everybody goes home to something. Some people can go home to abuse. Some people can go home to parents that are not there. Like everybody goes home to something, and everybody goes to school for a reason. Like I feel like if teachers would be more considerate of their students' feelings and what they go through, I feel like their lessons will run more easier. The school will be less violent because kids act out when they're mad, especially children that can't fully express themselves. And that's another reason why kids get bullied as well. Teachers wanting to put students on the spot. That child may not want to read, and you're forcing them to read. That puts them in an uncomfortable position. All my years of school, since I've been in school, I have seen at least all of my teachers put a student in an uncomfortable position. Even if it was me, even if it was the person sitting beside me, like they don't know that causes stress. If I know you can't, if I'm a student in a class and I know you can't read, it's students out here that make fun of people like that. That's bullying. Bullying leads to depression, and bullies have been bullied as well. That's what caused them to do that. Not to get sidetracked, I'm gonna let somebody else speak because I can go on.
Thank, thank you, Maya. I think you're raising some good points about how there may need to be additional resources, but also some training on how to how the adults in our lives and our schools can sort of better handle the multiple challenges and responsibilities that they have, in addition to the day-to-day teaching that they have to implement into their classrooms. What is one thing you want your teachers or administrators to know about the challenges young people are facing? Jasmine, would you like to jump in?
I would just want them to know that a break would be very useful sometimes. Like, sometimes they be going very fast in lessons and they need to slow down, but they don't exactly slow down because they just want to get through it. So I just think, you know, a little break sometimes would help.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. So
I agree.
understanding students' needs. Naomi?
Sorry, I agree with Jasmine with the break thing, but I also feel like just like some more understanding, some more patience, which I know is like it's a human thing. It's kind of hard to have a little more patience, but just to build it up and understand that we're trying, even after all the stress that we're trying. That's really the main theme that they should understand.
Yeah, absolutely, Naomi. So on Saturday, you all also talked quite a bit to great lengths about potential solutions or strategies for further addressing teen mental health challenges. And so I'd also like to get the audience input on this as well. So, audience, what do you think is the best way for teen girls to advocate for mental health support? Right, looks like host a convening, reach out to elected officials or community leaders. Okay. Seeing some good input here, partnering with schools or teachers. Right. Okay, looks like we have some good input here. Girls, what do you think? So the audience is saying that partnering with schools and teachers is a good approach for young people to advocate for mental health support, but there's also some input here around reaching out to elected officials or community leaders. What do you all think about that?
I think when it comes to partnering with schools and teachers, we should have a background check because some schools only like they would only care about like their image, but the people in that school or like the counselors, the staff will not like be seen as effective from the kids that go to that school. So we'd have to like have a survey or something to ask the kids how they feel about the counselors and teachers there and how they're treating their mental health.
Hmm.
Okay,
I
yeah,
agree
so
with
more
that.
structured input from young
I
people. Yeah, Naomi?
Yeah, I agree with that because there's teachers out here. There's a teacher with a doctorate, but she's just not teaching us right. She's not like emotionally treating us right. And I feel like aside from just partnering with parents and teachers, a whole like the whole like with advocating to parents or hosting conventions and stuff like that could be grouped together as one thing and just like putting the information out there in general that would help more to like spread the word and get other people up on this and understanding what the problem is and the solution.
Yeah, those are great points, Naomi. And it sounds like you'd be interested in seeing some additional support or training around like social and emotional learning, and just
Hmm.
opportunities for communities and students and parents and teachers to all get together and have more structured dialogue around this issue. Absolutely. Amaya, what do you think?
Excuse me.
I agree, and I feel like if school systems make like a mental health day, it can be twice a month, one at the beginning of the month, one at the end, where like students have a whole day off, not for no holiday, like a mental health day, just like a breather. It will help because once again, you never know what a person is going through. Even for teachers, like we they praise, oh, check on this person, check on that person, but like, how are we going to check on ourselves?
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's pretty powerful, right? Opportunity to just pause and to be able to check on ourselves. That's awesome. So we have a question
Can I
in the
please
chat
answer?
here. It says,
Yeah.
yeah,
Can I
sure.
answer that question?
Yeah.
Um, an advice that I would give you about being dismissed by a school counselor or teacher is speak up. I know there's like a huge thing about adults thinking that you speaking up for yourself is being disrespectful, but if you can't just sit there and let yourself be mistreated, even though like you might have not be on the same power level as them, you still are a person. You should be able to speak up for yourself. So yeah, you might get in trouble, or they might call your parents, and your parents might agree with them. Just know that in your head you did something right for yourself, and you should not be like feeling guilty or feeling bad about standing up for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So youth voices matter, right? And I think good point about this sort of imbalance of power. But I think if we can move to a space where teachers and students and administrators can work together to construct these solutions, I think we'd be moving on a better path forward. Amaya, did you have your hand up?
My mother always tells me this. Every person has a boss unless you're self-employed. If you can't, like, if you didn't went to this, excuse me, if you went to this teacher or counselor like more than once, then at that point you need to either go to an AP, assistant principal, for those who don't know, an AP, or you just need to take it to the principal. If you can't get through with the AP or the principal, then you should take it to the school board because it's a problem now. So just keep that in
Okay.
mind.
Okay, Amaya, right. So you're saying we need to identify who our resources are and our support people are and be able to go to them. Hey, Naomi?
I agree with both of you, and I think that was really, really well spoken, Ruth. Just speaking up for yourself is really what makes a difference. I believe in advocating for yourself, and that's really just the step to even creating progress because I've definitely been dismissed by a counselor and teacher. And I feel like as long as you're making a point for yourself and you're telling them, you're expressing what's going on, then it's better than doing nothing and just accepting the defeat.
But it's a way to express yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can't like me. I guess I'm not even gonna. I get smart before I try to talk to them professionally. Like at this point, I'm mad. Obviously, you're not doing something that I'm asking you to do. So before you want to curse the teacher out or the counselor out, just think about it. If I go to them respectfully, like talking like this, hi, how are you doing? Like this, maybe they'll do what I want. But if that don't work, curse my.
Thank you, Amaya. Jasmine, I'd like to get your input on this as well. What is one thing, or what else can we tell our schools or our community leaders or our parents? What's one thing we can do to support student well-being?
I actually agree with what everyone said, especially Naomi's because what? I'm sorry. Because I think it's important to. Oh no, it wasn't Naomi. It was Ruth. Sorry. I think it is very important to speak up because some people are very shy, kind of like me, and like even if you speak to one adult, it'll pass through another, and then soon like your problem will be heard. So like it is important to speak up, even if it's like a little bit. And can I answer
Yeah,
the next
absolutely.
question?
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a good consensus around the need to be persistent in raising our voices, and making
Mm-hmm.
sure your concerns are heard. Yes, Ruth, did you have a question? Did you want to jump in?
Yes. I want to like answer the question in the chat.
Okay. Did we have a question back up in the chat? If not, I think this is a good time to kind of turn it back to our audience. We do have time to answer some live audience questions. So those of you who are listening, if you have additional questions that you want to ask the girls, please feel free to put those questions in the chat so you can join our dialogue. And this is our first question that's up. It says, how would you personally handle your mental health? Ruth, did you want to jump in?
Yes. Personally, I am not like I know that might be hypocritical, but I don't really speak up about my mental health or like issues because I've gotten to the point where I learned how to deal with them myself by just like taking a minute to just sit like have some time alone, regather yourself. Like are you okay? Are you sure that you're able to go back out there and do what you usually do? If not, then it's okay, take it one thing at a time. People might talk to you even though you want to have some time alone, but like at least try um to just have a good attitude. I know that's like not I know it's not okay to like just cover your feelings, but there's some times where it might be like needed.
Thank you,
For
Ruth.
me,
Maya?
I look at the things I like to do. Like sometimes I'll either put my phone on do not disturb or I'll power it off and I'll read books, listen to like calming music, play with my crystals. Like it's ways that you can deal with your mental health that doesn't involve other people, like for your personal comfort. Like it's stuff that you can, like if you like writing, you can get a journal that's for, like if you're feeling overwhelmed, just write in your journal. Or you can look into crystals, play with your crystals. Like it's stuff that you can do. You can even sleep. I like to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like you have some good suggestions, Amaya, about creating healthy boundaries for yourself and finding additional outlets for being able to express yourself, whether that's through writing or playing with crystals or just going outside, right? There's lots of things we can do to sort of help us balance our mood and our emotions. We have another question in the chat. It says, "What makes you happiest?" Naomi, would you like to jump in?
The things that make me happiest, even though I don't know this is on topic or anything, but I love theater, love my friends. I just love being a part of something. And I also kind of wanted to answer the question that how do you feel? May I?
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, that I thought they could have tied into each other, but with your parents not being open minded to things you want to try to do, I say like explain to them maybe why you want to do it and just like express yourself, which like, helps you within that like class or sport or like activity. And I feel like just advocating for yourself overall makes it better.
Yeah, that's incredible. Jasmine, we've got some other questions in the chat here, like how do you handle overthinking or what makes you happiest? Or how do you deal with parents who may not be open-minded or not understanding of the things that you're interested in? Do you want to
So
take
if
any of
my
those
parents,
questions?
yeah, if my parents are not open-minded about the things that I want to do, usually I just do it secretly, or like I tell them enough to the point where they kind of just make me, or I mean, to the point where they kind of don't care, or like they want me to like shut up. And how do I handle overthinking? I just stop and I remember what the real problem is, and then I just kind of try to shut out the other thoughts by like writing or like listening to music and like doing things
Mhm.
active help me.
Okay, Jasmine. So it sounds like you're trying some new ways to navigate around some of the communication challenges that you may experience, and you found some things that have worked for you. But I thought that was pretty important what you said about when, in order to handle overthinking, you try to reflect on what the actual problem is and try to work around just the smaller problem instead of letting it turn into something much larger. Ruth, go ahead.
Also me as a dancer, I overthink a lot about moves and stuff. But like I just always try to gather myself together and Jasmine said, focus on the main issue or like the main topic. And then really like it's really in you to like get over overthinking, because some people might be like, oh stop, it's not that serious, like you don't have to keep thinking about it. Easier to say than to do. So even if you can't stop overthinking at that exact same moment, it's okay. And another question I want to answer that asked, how do you write down your feelings? I also journal a lot and write down my feelings. um Really like just start off with mm, try to start off with how you want to feel. Just be like, oh, today I wish to like feel this type of way. Tomorrow I might try to do something different. And then like go into depth about what made you feel that way so that tomorrow you could try better and to like exit out those things that made you feel that way.
Yeah, that's really
I
powerful, powerful, Ruth. Being able to set your intentions and being able to write out what you're feeling. I think Naomi, you had your hands up, and then we'll go to Amaya.
Yeah, I was looking at the other question though. What are the best things you do when you're mentally tired? Well, personally, I like to do everything, and so I feel like when I'm mentally tired, it's like two things I would like to do, like take a break or continue like creating and going out to do the things I do. Like I'm a major captain. I would like, come on guys, let's do this and just hang with my people, hang with my friends, my best friend, and just have like a great time to let myself cool down and do what I enjoy instead of what I have to do.
Thank you, Amaya. Did you
um
want to chime in?
for writing your feelings down, I've been doing this since I was young. I started off as if I'm having a conversation with the paper. Like, hey, this is like, I started off as if I'm having a conversation. And for what do you do when you're mentally tired? I say stop doing the stuff that's like making you tired. If you keep arguing with your significant other, like you're gonna have to change something. So like, I'm not gonna say like completely. Oh, if basketball is making you mentally tired, but you love basketball, don't stop doing that. But like, give yourself a time to breathe, a time to think about like the things you're doing to your body, because when you're mentally tired, that's a difference from being sleepy tired. People see the change in your attitude completely. So just give
Yeah, Maya.
yourself
So
a
it sounds
break.
Yeah, absolutely. Just making space for yourself just to exist and to breathe and reflect. And again, to create boundaries so that you're protecting your own time and energy as well. We have another question in here about emotional intelligence. And someone in our audience says, do schools teach emotional intelligence? And this might be an interesting time to talk a little bit about what you all may have been learning in your Crittenton programs around how to balance your emotions or to think about challenges or problems that we're facing by being able to balance of your mental and emotional health. Naomi?
I feel like schools don't really make an effort to teach emotional intelligence, maybe in health class like once or twice in like 8th grade. But I feel like personally for like sneakers was the thing that really allowed me to understand emotional intelligence and empathy and really just how to like express or yeah, just express my emotions. For what is it or how to use it, I would say like who you how you're feeling, how others are feeling, how to communicate with others effectively, and just be respectful when it comes to emotion.
Thank you, Naomi. That's incredible. All right. Thank you all for sharing your very informed and viable solutions and suggestions and tips and resources for being able to empower ourselves, but also to manage and improve our mental and emotional health as well. And so, as we get ready to close, I have one last question for each of you. Of all of the information you shared with us today, what is one ask that you have for the adults in your life, whether that's your teachers, your parents, or your community leaders, or your elected officials? What's one ask that you have for the adults in your life? Amaya, you want to get started?
Just give us a chance to breathe and be young and be free and let us express ourselves. Yes, you had your chance. You might have did some things wrong, but let us make mistakes. We have to be allowed to make mistakes because we won't know how to properly treat the things that will happen if we aren't allowed to make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Your kids aren't your baby's not going to be born perfect. Give your child the chance to breathe. Give your student the chance to breathe. Your sister, your cousin, just give them a chance to breathe. Step back.
Thank you, Amaya. Ruth?
A question that I would like to ask teachers specifically that I've been thinking about a lot since we're on like the topic of mental health. Um, when you see a child, like for example, there's always that one student who always acts out. My question is, when you look at them acting out, is the first thing that comes to mind their home life or their grades and how their performance is in school?
Mm, mm. Thank you for raising that question, Ruth. Naomi?
What I would like to say is like, please be patient and like let me take a chance on myself and you take a chance on me, and just let that cycle happen. Let the emotions go through and be a real thing, and let me live my life as a teenager.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. Jasmine? What's one ask that you
I
have
would
for the adults
actually,
in your life?
I would ask my parents mainly to get the help that they need so that we could grow together and like care for each other.
Wow. Thank you, Ruth. That is incredibly powerful and a great way to wrap up our conversation. Thank you so much to each of you for participating in our conversation today. Jasmine, Naomi, Amaya, and Ruth, you are also incredible. Thank you for being a part of this conversation and for sharing your insights and perspectives with us. I hope all of you watching are inspired and that you found something or learned something that you can take away with you. Thanks, everyone. And we'll turn it back over to our hosts.
Thank you.